And the biggest thing is they were blindsided when generative AI with ChatGPT and GitHub launched back in 2022, November 2022. I'm told Apple Intelligence wasn't even an idea back then.
Why?
Well, they missed the boat.
But how? I mean, I mean, I don't understand. Yeah.
Well, clearly there was philosophical disagreement and philosophical disinterest in the topic of artificial intelligence. I write about how Craig Federighi, Apple's senior VP of software engineering, doesn't really believe in these multi-billion-dollar projects. He tends to try to shut down or steer away from projects of that sort. And AI is something of that nature. AI is quite a bit messy. They're known for their very intricate and well-designed user experiences. AI sometimes with hallucinations can take away from that, but I think they didn't think it was going to be as big of a thing as it became today. A lot of it fell on deaf ears years ago, I'm told. But really, this is a company that's known for updating their operating systems once a year. It's known as a company that focuses on the minutia, and they missed the big picture here with artificial intelligence, and it really is a shame. You know, the big picture here isn't the AI capabilities of its devices today. The big picture today is the AI capability of future hardware. If you don't have the core technology, the AI ready to go at a deep level, how are you going to develop products like humanoid robots, smart glasses, watches and AirPods with depth sensing cameras for AI purposes? Can't do any of that if you don't have that technology. So they need to seriously turn this thing around quickly, or they're going to be in big trouble. This is as core a technology as the touchscreen.
Wow.
I mean, first of all, how many words is this story, dude?
6,000.
Yeah, this is a long,
Whoa.
well in-depth story, folks. So if you want to get smart on AI and Apple, you got to read the story. It's in the Bloomberg Business Week. It's on the terminal. I'm sure it's everywhere else as well. Mark, what can they do? If I'm an investor, that's the only question I have for Tim Cook. Can you guys catch up and get some of that AI pixie dust in your stock?
Yes, they need to make acquisitions, and they need to up the percentage of that R&D budget tied to AI. They need to up that percentage. They need to allocate more of their hires to AI as well. So they need to go big or go home on this. And I think...
Do they know that, do you think?
Yeah, of course they know that.
Okay.
How do they go big?
You got to spend more money. AI is really one of the only things that you can buy your way into when it comes to this technology, right? You can buy your way into it. You just need to throw billions and billions at AI training. They need to make probably some tweaks to their privacy policy, right? They have so many devices. They have more devices than anyone else as a single brand of a hardware company, of any company in the entire world, in the history of the world. But they don't leverage that because of their privacy stance. So maybe make some tweaks there to be able to collect some more data. Maybe figure out a way to convince people to give up some of their data for this purpose. And I think that could go a long way for them. So spending money, collecting more data.
Is there somebody out there that they could buy, should buy, that would leapfrog them, do you think?
They hate doing that though, right?
Well, the problem is this philosophical disgust, I would say, to making these large acquisitions. If I told you, I mean, you know this is true, so maybe you're not a good example, but if I said to someone who didn't know the company as well as you two, would you believe me if I told you that Apple's biggest acquisition in the history of the company was $3 billion?
I actually believe that.
Well, you believe that because you know that. But I think if you ask people who didn't know that, that would be completely unbelievable. They make these small acquisitions. And in addition to not wanting to spend big bucks on a company, they're really poor at integrating companies. The Beats integration, integrating all those engineers into the company, disaster. Intel, they bought the modem unit for $1 billion back in 2019, disaster. What is it going to feel as an AI person at Apple today if the company buys your replacement to bring them in? It's not going to be fun. There's enough turf wars as it is at Apple. So
if they do then have to do it internally, they've still not done well at that.
They've got to do both. They got to make the acquisition. They got to just deal with that. They got to make their biggest acquisition ever, and it has to be for AI, maybe multiple acquisitions. They have to turn things up a notch internally as well. They're going to be making changes. I mean, there's so many philosophical disagreements. The biggest is about chatbots when it comes to AI. They are allergic to AI chatbots. They don't like the technology. They don't think OpenAI has staying power. So yes, I know.
I made a face when he said that, by the way. Okay.
You're going to see deeper integrations with other companies. You're going to see Google Gemini integration. I think next year you'll see Perplexity integration, maybe some Anthropic integration, maybe some Microsoft integration, but they're going to keep pushing, and this is going to be a multi-year thing. The biggest problem is they were caught off guard when this happened, so they had no head start on this. they're coming way from behind.